In today's video, we are going to be talking about getting you your first job here in Canada. After I posted the AIPP video, I found that finding work in Canada is a very serious concern for most of you. And the challenge is real, and I get it. And that's why I have made this video, to talk to you a bit more about how you can increase your chances of getting your first job in Canada more quickly, whether you have just newly arrived in Canada or whether you're intending to move to Canada. If that's the information you're looking for, then keep watching this video. Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of being here, you're welcome. Please make sure to click that subscribe button and also the notification button so that you do not miss any time I post a brand new video. Also, please make sure to check out my previous videos to see if there are any videos that you might find interesting. By the way, Canada is so hot right now, like, oh my god. Okay. Before I go on, I'll just like to say I see you from wherever it is that you're watching from. So I see that my audience are from different countries that I didn't even notice before. Not like I didn't notice, I didn't see. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know I had people watching from Hong Kong, Colombia, the Bahamas, Cameroon, Zimbabwe. I have to look. Kenya, Ghana, Turkey, UEA, Japan, Thailand, Germany, Jamaica, Romania, the States. Yes, I know I have subscribers from the States. Hey y'all, I don't know how to do the American thing, but oh well. India, yes, I have people watching from India, and of course Nigeria, my people. Thank you guys for watching. Let me clap for you guys. Mwah, mwah. Now let's get back into today's video. I know that finding work in Canada is a difficult task, even though, like I said when I posted the AIPP video, that the AIPP is the easiest program. Something is easy does not mean that you don't have to work for it. So that's one thing that you need to understand. And if you're not willing to do the work, then you will not have the result that you want. And like I said in that video, you have to understand why. If you do not know your why, you will not be able to follow through the process. You will just, get frustrated and give up. And if you really want to, make this change in your life, then being persistent is something that you have to be. So now let's talk about the details of finding work in Canada. The first thing you need to remember when you're finding work in Canada is that there's a huge cultural difference between your home country and Canadians or employers in Canada. Now let me tell you what, the culture shock is real. Whether it's in casual relationships or romantic relationships or a relationship with, workmates or schoolmates, just with an employer, you have to think about it. There's a huge cultural difference between you and the people that are here. So if you remember that, then you will be able to know how you can go about things in a way that you can feel like you can integrate yourself, you can immerse yourself into the work culture, that is existent here in Canada. Now, talking a bit more about the culture, there is a way Canadians speak. There is a way, we generally communicate. And going back to an employer looking for an employee, it's going to be a bit more difficult for them to feel like they have to deal with someone who's not here. And I feel like that's one of the reasons that employers do not like to employ people that are not readily available here in Canada. The first thing is there's a lot of paperwork that they have to do. Sometimes they have to do a labor market impact assessment, which some employers may not want to do. And 3, it just takes time. Sometimes these employers want someone who's here that they can employ fast. They don't want to have to go through all of the trouble. But if your skill is highly in demand and they feel like they need you, then they'll do whatever it takes to bring you here. I know it's difficult to find an employer to sponsor you for a work permit to Canada, but it's possible. I know a handful of people who have got their work permits because they got jobs in Canada from their home countries. So yes, it's possible if you're doing the right things, and that's creating your resume right, communicating correctly, applying to the right jobs, and yes, it's very possible for you to get a job in Canada. Now let's talk about where you can find jobs. The places you can find jobs or a potential employer would be LinkedIn, which is my number one. I feel like even if you're not looking to immigrate like right away, it's just important that you just follow, like, you know, employers or potential employers or companies that you just like, maybe on LinkedIn, and see like how these companies work in Canada, and you know, just look into stuff. And trust me, you never know what network or connection or relationships you can build from those contacts. So just make sure that, you know, you're interested and invested in, you know, some of the key players in your industry, and just try to like build relationships from there. Now, sites where you can actually apply for jobs are Indeed.ca, Job Bank, Monster, ZipRecruiter, and even the main website of the company. You can always go to the company's websites to see if they are hiring. And even if they are not hiring, there might be like a contact there, or a contact person that you can contact. You can always find a contact person in these companies and let them know what your skills are, and let them know that, you know, you'll be following up again to see when they're hiring. You know, you can ask them, if it's not too much trouble, that they should tell you the best way to find out when they're hiring. It's very important that when you're looking for work, especially outside of Canada, that you follow websites that are only approved for Canadian employment, because there are fraudulent employers, fraudulent recruiters that can dupe you and make you feel like the employment is real, and they might even ask you to pay some money or ask you to make some kind of investment, and because you don't know any better, you would fall for it. So you have to be mindful of where you're looking for work. Another thing I would like to say is that you learn your market. Like, what skills do you have that is relevant, that is transferable to, you know, working here in Canada? It doesn't matter that the skill that you have is useful where you are right now. Is it useful in Canada? So you have to find out what is the market like here in Canada, and how best can you apply the skills that you currently have. If you're able to answer this question, life will be so much easier for you. Another thing you have to remember is that some professions here in Canada are regulated. So you have to find out in your industry, like, is it regulated? Do you need a license or a certification before you can practice? So if in your case you do need a license or a certification, the next question is, how can I go about getting it? And then you know how to go about your next steps. Now let's talk about your resume, which is the number one tool for you to get work in Canada. It is called a resume here in Canada, and you do not necessarily have to write a resume on the top. I've seen a lot of resumes where, like, or CVs where you write curriculum vitae on the top. You do not have to do that. Your resume needs to be easy on the eyes. When I say easy on the eyes, I'm not saying it should not have anything much in it. Your resume does not need to have your age, your marital status, or your religion on it. In fact, putting irrelevant information in your resume will only show your employer that you do not know how to write a resume, and you probably do not know what it takes to be a Canadian employee. And for that reason, you will not even stand a chance. Also, your resume does not need to have too many words, too many grammar. All they want to do is to find that you have the right skill for the job, and they are really not interested in your big English. So it would be better for you to make your resume very easy to read. Use simple and clear words. Another thing you have to remember is, for example, if you're applying to, say, 5 jobs, 5 different jobs, 5 different job roles, make sure that your resume is tailored to each job description, because it's important that you use keywords that are in the job description for the application. Also, make sure that if you're going to be using any other keywords, they have to be related to that industry. They have to be specific to that industry. That's what makes you an expert, because the employer has to be able to see that you can communicate in those terms that are related to that industry. In the description of this video, I'm going to be linking a website where you can actually have like a free service to see like a resume template, a cover letter template that is recognized in Canada. A resume that is Canadian standard will definitely give you an edge and maybe put you at the door, you know, to just having that interview that you've been looking to have. Another thing you have to remember is that sometimes these employers might think that you are overqualified for a job position that you're applying for. If, for example, in your home country, you're a manager somewhere and the job you're applying for is a, you know, lower position, the employer might just simply feel like, I can't pay you. Is this person going to be committed to this lower position job since they've been like a manager for maybe 7 years? So you have to think about what experience is directly related to the job in a way that it's going to be favorable for you. Now let's talk about skills that would help you find a job in Canada. In Canada, there's something called soft skills and hard skills. Looking for a job, the most important skills are the soft skills. So your communication skills, your interpersonal skills, your adaptability, your flexibility, your team playing skills. These are your soft skills, and the soft skills is usually 60%. While the hard skills are skills that are teachable, which are 40%. So your teachable skills, for example, are maybe computer skills, you know, writing skills and whatnot. So make sure that you have these skills. Now let's talk more about communication. In Canada, there is a way to communicate. Your verbal skills, your writing skills, your telephone etiquette. Very important. Let me share this with you. It's so funny because when I first moved to Canada, like whenever I receive a call, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, thank you so much, yeah, okay, bye. Did you see that? Very dull and boring, very low energy. Nobody wants that. And funny thing is, whenever I would take a call like that, they would always ask me, are you okay? Are you doing okay? They would ask you that because they care from the tone of your voice. So one day, my sister was around when I just got off the phone, and she teaches me everything. Like, I'm still learning so much. She's my teacher. So I get off the phone, and my sister said, Titi Lola, come, I want to tell you something. And because she heard the person ask me if I was okay, and I said yes, I was okay. And I was just chilling, watching TV, so it wasn't like I was sad or anything. She said, come, Titi Lola, I have to tell you this. When you receive a call like that, you make people feel like they are bothering you, like you don't want to be on the phone with them, like you don't want to talk to them. And then she showed me an example of how enthusiastic I should be when I get on the phone. Let me show you how I'll take a call now. Hello, good morning. Yes. Oh, hi. Titi Lola speaking. Yes. Wonderful. Oh, wonderful to give me a call back. Yes, I left you a message yesterday, and I was hoping that I could get a chance to speak with you about, you know, what we talked about the other day. Yes. Awesome. Okay. I'm excited for that. I'll be looking forward to speaking with you again. Awesome. Okay. All right. Yes. We'll follow up, say next week. Okay. All right. Talk soon. Okay. Have a wonderful day. All right. Bye. Cheers. You too. Bye. Yeah. So yes, I changed like 360 because I'm a very happy, positive person, and I wanted to reflect that. unfortunately, I didn't know what I was even doing. I didn't know, my communication was just so wrong. Like, you just said, imagine an employer calls you and the energy is just so negative. So I remember my first modeling job. It was a job with LG, and then when the agent called me to give me the good news that, you know, Kofi and I got the job for the LG campaign, I was excited. And the way we talked, we started talking about mommy life and everything. Like, we just went on and on like we were friends. Now, if I applied for another modeling job and those people remember me, they're only going to have positive thoughts about me. And that's the same impression you need to leave with an employer, whether you're communicating via email or by telephone, because chances are that you will have some of your interviews via telephone. If you feel like you have to speak big grammatical terms before you can communicate, you have to tone that down, because people are not really looking for that. Like, even when you're writing, I would say use Grammarly. Since I started using Grammarly, Grammarly has changed my life. Use Grammarly when you're writing an email. Make sure that your writing is clear and straightforward. Maybe you're messaging potential employers on LinkedIn or on social media, anywhere. Make sure that your writing is as simple and clear as possible. If I were you and I was looking for work in Canada, I would have signed up with all the Canadian work sites possible so that I can be getting newsletters and updates and whatnot. Let me just quickly do a recap. So like I said earlier, you have to make sure that the job description is very much suited to your skill. And you have to remember that if you do not do that, there is a chance that you might be applying to the wrong job, and that makes you the wrong person for the job. So it may not be the wrong job, it may be the wrong job for you, or you are just the wrong person for the job. Any which way is just wrong. So you have to make sure that you're right, okay? Make sure that you're doing things the right way to give yourself a chance at least. Because I'll tell you what, not having Canadian experience is a limitation for you, right? But one thing you can do to overcome that is for you to state any other experience that you have that has given you the chance to work with people in a diverse environment. So if you have an international work experience from any other country, put it, write it down. Even if it's a volunteering experience, it really doesn't matter whether the job was a paid or a volunteering experience. In Canada, an experience is an experience, okay? If in your case you do not have an international experience, you can just talk about the diversity in your workplace. As long as you're able to demonstrate the skills that are necessary for that job position, that should give you a chance as well. And finally, the last thing I want to say is that you have to be consistent and patient. You cannot compare the results of someone who's applying to, say, 6 jobs a day to you that's applying to 1 job a week. You know, you cannot have the same results. And if you're already in Canada, I've heard stories of people who actually find jobs in weeks to 1 month. But I would say, hopefully everything works out for you. You find job within the first 2 to 3 months that you arrive Canada. I do wish you all the best with your job search in Canada. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Share this video to your friends and your family who are looking for information on finding work in Canada. Also, do not forget to look in the description because I have attached useful links that can help you in preparing and finding work in Canada. Leave me your comments in the comment section to let me know how you found this video and where you're watching from and how I can help you. If you have any video suggestions, please let me know and I'll be reading from you in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.